It's not that God doesn't want to bless you. It's that your lifestyle keeps saying no to his yes. Every day, small habits are silently shutting heaven's doors. You're praying for a breakthrough, but your actions are breaking the very path God is trying to use. Habit 1. Complaining. Instead of trusting. One of the fastest ways to block God's blessings isn't sin, it's complaining. Every time you grumble about your situation, you're speaking against the very miracle God is building behind the scenes. The Israelites had proof of God's power, manna from heaven, water from a rock, yet they complained, and that's what kept them out of the promised land. Not their enemies, not the desert, their attitude. Complaining tells God you don't trust his timing. Gratitude tells him you're ready for more. Philippians 2:14 says, "Do everything without complaining or arguing." Why? Because your words create either walls or windows. Walls that block his blessings or windows that let his favor in. Habit 2. Ignoring God's nudge. You keep feeling that small pull, that quiet voice saying, "Let it go. Stop doing that. Change direction." But you brush it off, telling yourself, "It's not that deep." The truth is, delayed obedience is still disobedience. Every time you ignore God's nudge, you delay the blessing that was attached to your obedience. Think about Jonah. God told him exactly where to go, but he chose his own plan. And instead of peace, he found himself in a storm. Not every storm in your life is from the enemy. Some are God's way of redirecting your disobedience. Proverbs 3:6 says, "In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths." God can't direct a path you refuse to follow. The more you ignore his whisper, the quieter his direction becomes. Habit 3. Holding on to offense. You can't receive what God has for you while your heart is still full of bitterness. Unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It doesn't hurt them, it hardens you. Every time you replay that hurt, you're reopening the wound God's trying to heal. Jesus said in Matthew 6:15, "If you do not forgive others their sins, your Father will not forgive yours." That means forgiveness isn't optional, it's a spiritual law. Sometimes the delay isn't because God said no. It's because your heart hasn't made room for his yes. Forgiveness doesn't make them right, it makes you free. Habit number 4. Speaking death over your life. Some people pray for blessings on Sunday and curse their future on Monday. You say things like, "I'll never get out of debt. Nothing good ever happens to me." Or, "I guess this is just my life." What you don't realize is that your words are shaping your reality. Proverbs 18:21 says, "The power of life and death is in the tongue." Heaven can't agree with a mouth that keeps declaring defeat. When your words contradict your prayers, you cancel your own harvest. Speak faith, even when you don't feel it. Speak life, even when things look dead. Because sometimes God is waiting for your declaration before he releases your blessing. Habit number 5. Rushing God's timing. You keep wondering why doors won't open, but sometimes it's not delay, it's protection. We live in a generation that wants miracles on demand, but God doesn't bless impatience. Every time you try to force what he hasn't finished preparing, you step outside his covering. Remember Abraham and Sarah. God promised them a child, but when they got tired of waiting, they made their own plan, and it birthed chaos. Isaiah 60:22 says, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen." God's blessings don't need to be chased, they need to be trusted. Waiting isn't wasted time, it's training time. While you wait, he's working, shaping your heart to handle the very thing you've been praying for. If you've been wondering why your prayers seem unanswered, maybe it's not that God said no. Maybe he's waiting for you to clear the clutter that's blocking his yes. Start today. Check your heart. Check your habits. Because the blessings you're praying for are already written in heaven. They're just waiting for you to make room on earth. Which of these habits do you need to let go of first? Drop it in the comments. not for attention, but for accountability. And if this spoke to you, don't scroll, share it. Someone else might be one habit away from their breakthrough.